I tell you, love or hate LeBron saying he knew when he became the GOAT.
I hate it. And I hate it only because he's wrong in his timeline.
Really?
LeBron James did become the GOAT, but it wasn't in 2016.
Let's go.
The most impressive athletic feat maybe in American sports history is not LeBron James coming back from down 3-1. It's not even Tom Brady's 7 Super Bowls. It's not Michael Jordan going 6 for 6. It is LeBron James going to the NBA Finals 9 times in 10 years. That is the most impressive athletic feat. See, the problem we have with the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, the MLB is, in our society, we only pay respect to who wins and we disregard every other place. We treat second place like 99th place, as if there is no delineation marker between the two. That's the problem. Woo! But when you open up the aperture of your mind and you realize, wait a second, LeBron James, you either finished first or second 9 times in 10 years, you then realize that is the most impressive thing that LeBron James has ever accomplished, and that is GOAT-worthy. Several people have come back from down 3-1, not necessarily in the NBA Finals, but we've seen it done. But ain't nobody been to 9 NBA championships in 10 years. We've never seen that done. LeBron James became the GOAT 2020, bubble year, wins that chip in LA, 9 finals, 10 years, 4 chips. That's when LeBron James became the GOAT. So the only reason I don't like him saying in 2016 is when he knew, because in my mind, that's wrong. That isn't the most impressive feat. The most impressive feat LeBron James has accomplished, which in my mind is maybe the most impressive feat in American sports history, 9 finals, 10 years. Ain't never been done, and it won't be done again. Not in modern sports history. You got to go back to those Celtics 1960s if you want to.
Yeah, about to say Bill Russell over there texting somebody on that flip phone like, hey, bro, did he win 11?
Modern, big dog. Modern.
What does modern mean? What do you mean? Was the ball still dribbling? Did the ball still bounce?
One hand. Only right hand. Dribbling around like this.
Don't do them like that. That's all they could do. Woo! I'm on the other end with this one, bro.
Talk to me.
You hate it? I love it. Let me start off with a little bit of a lesson in terms of my greatest art form. I told you I'm top 5 freestyler when hydrated.
I better get some bars, big dog. Before the end of the show, I want 8. Just 8. I don't need 16.
Compromise like this,
32.
coach? You want me to run a 40 with the hammy like this?
8 bars from you before the show's over.
First of all, I'm going to say it again. Second of all, I am top 5 freestyling when hydrated.
I got a bottle of water right here.
That ain't what I'm talking about, boy. I'm talking that thing that you don't do. All right, here we go. Now, I was educated on what freestyling really is. We think, and it has 2, I guess, definitions. One is you freestyle, like right now. I want 8 bars right now. Talk about my clothes, talk about the studio, etc. What's here?
Yep.
But freestyle originally wasn't that. Freestyle was you actually had a prepared rap that when someone battled you, it was time to go out there and get it. And that's interesting, that splice in definition. Why do I bring that up? You got to know who LeBron James is, dog. In this movie called his NBA career, he freestyled this movie. He had it planned already upstairs. Think about this. He calls himself the king, the chosen one. This is even before he's getting tested in battle. He already got this mentally planned. I'm the chosen one. I'm the king. Now, when you're watching this movie, to really grab the viewers, to grab everyone who's voting, is this the best movie we've ever seen? Are you truly the GOAT? What moment would you grab as your climax? Think about it. I gotta grab 2016. When we were down 1-3 against the best team by record in NBA history. And I went out there and led that charge. Oh, guess what? We're on the edge of our seats right now. Whatever you say, yes, Simon, we obey. And that's what happened. LeBron James, who has literally already had the vision of him being the GOAT, chosen one, the king, from hello, waited for a moment of battle, of contention to finally say, shoot the fireworks, G-O-A-T. I'm the GOAT, 2016.
But here's the biggest problem with that. I don't know if your greatest moment can be your greatest moment if you have to share your moment. You feel me? So
it's a team sport, though. How?
Meaning, when we talk about that, the 2016 and LeBron coming back from down 3-1, we always say, but Kyrie. Remember, Kyrie hit the shot. We always say who was more important in that game. Stat lines were fairly similar over the course of that series. Who was more important? We always say LeBron couldn't have done it without Kyrie. If you really want to say LeBron's greatest moment, then you almost got to say Game 6. LeBron James, Miami Heat, Boston Celtics, come back, down 3-2, then you come back and you close them out 4-3. You almost have to say Game 6 when LeBron gave us, 45, 15, and 5? When LeBron James had that image, headband on, Heat jersey, just staring up at the top of his eyelids. You almost have to say that game because that was a game where LeBron James did it with no help. LeBron had to share the spotlight in that down 3-1 series. Kyrie, step back, Steph, shot, dagger, game. We always say, well, what about Kyrie? Who was more important in that game? LeBron's biggest moment, chase down block. Kyrie's biggest moment, step back dagger. LeBron had to share the spotlight. I just don't know if your biggest moment can be a moment where you have to share the spotlight. Sell, a movie I never saw, but you quoted for at least 3 months over the course of the show last year. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, I forgot my accent. I need to watch it again. Netflix, help.
Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, Daniel Kaluuya was the star in that. And Lakeith, help me with his last name. Lakeith Stanfield.
Stanfield, yeah.
Now, Daniel Kaluuya is a beast. And I believe he won an Oscar for that. But he had to share the spotlight in that movie.
Because Lakeith
Judas
can act.
And the Black Messiah.
Yeah.
Not just Judas.
Oh, don't do
Judas
this.
and the Black Messiah. Now, where did Daniel Kaluuya not have to share the spotlight? And Get Out. Where did he first step on the scene?
No.
And he ain't had to share nobody's spotlight.
Lakeith was in that too.
But Lakeith had a one small little part.
True.
Now, I'm not going to tangent this whole thing in case you haven't seen either movie. If you haven't, you need to see
Spoiler
both.
alert.
But there was a time in which he didn't have to share the spotlight, which put him on the scene, Daniel Kaluuya. Now, while he won an Oscar for Judas and the Black Messiah. Yeah. He ended up winning an Oscar for his role in Judas and the Black Messiah. Right. But even when he won that Oscar, they were both up for Best Supporting Actors. They went up for Best Lead because it was like, wait, who was supporting who? Was it Kaluuya or was it Lakeith? LeBron James in 2016, there was always a debate of Best Supporting Actor. Was it Bron or was it Kyrie? Y'all remember better than I, but if I'm not mistaken, they both dropped 41 points in a game. Literally, when you look at the box scores, it was like, they both was up there Best Supporting. I don't know if LeBron can say that his GOAT moment was a moment in which he had to share the spotlight.
Don't do that. You know that argument's flawed. You know what I mean? Finals MVPs Jordan won. Passing to Paxson, Kerr. Look, Cooper Kupp just won Super Bowl MVP. Did he throw the ball to himself, too? Matthew Stafford's in there throwing that pretty speed out, too. Delayed speed out. It wasn't even fast. It was just like, oh, I got him. Whew. Dog, it's a shared experience because, look, it's a team sport. We can't do that. But I want to push back on that because I don't even think that you have the proper record of that moment. Because Kyrie's three was huge to me to the point, because I love Kyrie, I kept going out there and said, why aren't they showing Kyrie's three? Because they kept showing the King's block. And look, you can look back and you can just remember, like, damn, we saw that block a lot more than we saw that three. But that's not my greater point. My greater point is LeBron can't pick anything else as his moment, his climatic moment of being the GOAT. Think about everything else you said takes discussion. It takes us to be the devil going into the details, into the weeds to figure out, oh, no, that one. No, I think he scored 45 in this one. No, it was a game 5. Game 6, LeBron, in totality, saw his career at this moment going against the best team in NBA history. Don't take that slightly. Like 73 wins and already a championship squad. And LeBron was down 1-3. Basically, they breathe. They're crossing the finish line. They're the champions. And LeBron said, hold y'all breath, because here I come. And when he did it, he had a signature moment in that block that said, okay, ignite, fireworks. Now, to LeBron, he's up here professing that was the moment to him, because then he started to go into detail, which is interesting, too. LeBron said that a couple of years ago. But then he saw the social response. He saw the social reaction. And if you're healthy in mind and spirit, you can go through social media and round out your arguments and learn to add to whatever you're thinking. LeBron did that. He started talking about Jay-Z. He started talking about how I play 1 through 5, I can guard 1 through 5. He didn't say that initially a couple years ago when he first made the GOAT comments on his own show. So to me, I think LeBron really nailed this. You can't pick the bubble championship. You can't pick the 2 championships with the Heat, because be real, that's a shared experience. If anything, you got the number 3 player in the world at that time in Dwayne Wade, and then you had Chris Bosh, who was a perennial all-star. To me, LeBron nailed this. This was the moment.
But the question I have, though, Sal, as you really ponder this barbershop talk, was it a moment? Because I don't think when you think about LeBron James and what makes him the GOAT, if you do subscribe to Bron being the GOAT, it's not as much about a moment as it was about a movement. LeBron being the GOAT, you can't pick, like, any one of LeBron's moments will be trumped by Jordan's moments. That's the problem. Like, if you really want to talk about LeBron, then you got to talk about Jordan stealing the ball from Karl Malone, pushing it down the other end of the floor, crossover, step back, bucket. You got to talk about that. And that moment, it still trumps LeBron's moment. So, LeBron, you are not going to beat somebody in moments. That's not what you're going to do. If you want to talk about LeBron's moment, then you got to go back to Magic's moment, where Magic dropped, 42, 9, and 15 when he had to replace Kareem in Game 6 to close out the Sixers, if I'm not mistaken. Bron, you're not going to beat Magic in that moment where Magic was literally playing the 5. You're talking about you could play 1 through 5. Magic was actually out there playing a 5, 1980, Game 6, closeout game without Kareem, getting the job done. So Bron isn't going to beat Jordan in a moment. Bron isn't going to beat Magic even in a moment. Where Bron can beat them both is in a movement. Where Bron can beat them both is in from a 10-year stretch, I went to 9 NBA Finals. That's where LeBron can win. Don't try to fight these guys in moments, because LeBron, you will not outgo Michael Jordan based upon a moment. His moments are bigger than your moments, but you could outgo Michael Jordan based upon a movement, because he did not have the same duration of greatness that you had, particularly not without taking a break.
You're right. You're right. Look, if you want to go highest of highs, it seems like LeBron's going to lose that conversation to Michael Jordan, right? Let's just be real. But then when you start to go into an aggregate conversation of adding them all up, all of a sudden LeBron starts to have a greater case. But let's stick with your actor example. When it's time to vote on Best Actor or for the Oscars, they take submissions, right? And they ask you to submit. And you have to submit. LeBron has to submit something. You got to fill out something, right? You can't, and please don't get psyched out and thinking, I can't write this down because Jordan got something better. Let them figure that out. Let them figure it out. But you said he could only win by a movement, not a moment. His movement started in 2004, if not before. He was already the chosen one. He wasn't even in the league. I watched LeBron James play basketball as a junior in high school. His movement started well before. And think about this. This is what's amazing. 2016, 12 plus years later, he finally says, this is my moment. Dog, LeBron James had the most absurd expectations of any NBA prospect ever, including Michael Jordan. And he exceeded them. He exceeded the absurd. And then he's sitting quiet, even though everybody's calling him the king and chosen one, and he named himself that, sitting back, waiting. I need something. I need a climax. I need something climatic. I just beat the best team ever. And guess what? They wouldn't have done it without me. Didn't he lead that finals in scoring, assists, rebounds, steals,
and I think blocks.
And blocks. Headbands worn, like covering it up. Like LeBron did everything, bruh. I'm sorry. What would you submit? What would you do if you were the committee? This has to be it.
Truly speaking,
come on,
if I was Bron, I would submit Game 6 Eastern Conference Finals 2012 against Boston. Why? Only because, again...
Can I cut you off?
Please.
That's not even the finals. You're going to submit that, and you know Jordan submitted Shawshank Redemption or something? What, they got a little home movie?
The reason, Phil, you have to... Because at least you didn't have to share the spotlight. If you got to share the spotlight, people can look up. So let me personalize it. I'm going to shut up. Only because every now and then I have career highlights where I actually can personalize things instead of my football.
You were in a movie?
No.
Oh.
You're exactly right. When it's time to submit for an Oscar, for an Emmy, for a Grammy, you got to submit something.
You got to send something in.
So they said, hey, Acho, it's time to submit for your Grammy, for the Emmy for Uncomfortable. I was like, yo, let's submit the one with Matthew McConaughey. That's my dog. That one was a big one that put me on the map. They submit that. They were like, my publicist was like, I don't know about that one. I was like, okay, let's submit the one where we had the different kids, the black family that had, the white family that had a white biological son and adopted black children. Like, they were like, really? You should submit your first one because only you are in that one.
Ooh.
What you think I submitted and what you think won? Not with McConaughey, not with Roger Goodell, not with Chelsea Handler, not with the Petaluma Police Department, where I'm sitting in the chair by myself because I didn't have to share the spotlight with anybody. The problem with that 2016 comeback from down 3-1, always and forever, LeBron has to share the spotlight with Kyrie because even in the closeout game, Kyrie Irving went crazy as well. And in Game 6, Kyrie Irving went even crazier. So I'm just saying, LeBron, submit a moment where at least you ain't got to share the spotlight with anybody else just to ensure you win.
All right, I'm off the takes now. How many of the conversations did you have to even choose from? How many were 10?
Yeah.
Damn it, you won off the first one? Did Malika send in something different? Oh, you don't even know that. Okay, that's why I ain't want an Emmy. I don't know what to submit.
Stop putting me in your takes. Just cut me out, submit your own take, and you might, you know what I'm saying?
All right, next block, sit down. All right, coming up.